The Fugees are in shambles. Lauryn Hill blames the media for the tour cancellation, and Pras disses her.
Don't blame me, blame her. She made the mess. Not another fucking penny's what I told Clef.
What up, world? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate those Cashaps. Keep sending them to CLBMG. Gang, listen, I don't know what happened to arguably one of the greatest hip-hop groups in the history of rap, and I do not take that lightly when I say that. I'm going to say Fugees top 5 all time, and that's for something that they did 25 years ago, right? I feel like the Fugees will forever. It's going to be hard to top what they've done. The millions and millions of records sold, the amount of cultural cachet they have built, right? Lauryn Hill is still counted as one of the top 5, if not 10 greatest female rappers in history. But somehow they fail so hard, bro. I mean, this is bad. Like, when did the score drop? 96, 97? Around that time somewhere, we got one of the greatest albums, one of the most listenable, one of the most seminal hip-hop releases we have ever had. I mean, the Fugees, when the score dropped, we didn't expect it to be that good. We actually gave it a chance just based on remixes, right? Dead ass. Like, that first Fugees album, Blunted on Reality, was already garbage the day it dropped. I'm using that word loosely, garbage, but that Blunted on Reality album sounded dated the very first time we opened it up out the rapper, and we were kind of listening to it like we were in a car in a group of guys, and we just listened to it, and song after song just sounded kind of like bleh. But then we got to those the Nappy Head remix, and that gave them a chance to all hip hoppers. We were like, yo, we're going to give the Fugees another chance. So when they dropped the score, it was fresh, like the beats were dope, like it was completely a different product than what we got before, and they were making some noise. That thing went on to go 10 times diamond, right? And it cemented them as probably one of the greatest trio, and that's dead ass, that's one album. But they didn't just have one album. They had Lauryn's Miseducation and Lauryn Hill right after that. Then Pras dropped, what some of us believe, if you are like me, that, not Pras, I'm sorry, Wyclef dropped The Carnival. Pras album, I mean, some people listen to that. I'm not going to say nothing good or bad, because I don't really remember Pras album like that. Can't Stop the Shine. Right? All of that, like, you can tell by the way, that joint, right? I don't remember that album like that. And a lot of people hate on Pras, but I don't hate on him because simple fact, he's in one of the greatest groups ever. But Wyclef's album, The Carnival, is arguably one of the most slept on classics in hip hop, but that's another story, right? I say all that to say this. The Fugees fell from grace when they broke up. And allegedly Lauryn broke up from the Fugees because of why she had an affair with Wyclef, and whatever happened behind the scenes, and it didn't work out. And she was upset and she bounced, and it ruined the group, right? So we never really got much more out of the Fugees after the score. We had a couple of, like I said, like Wyclef's album was really an extended Fugees album if you go back and listen to it. The Carnival has all the elements, all of the Fugees were on there rapping more than once, and it just had a really strong feel. But after that, after Lauryn won all those Grammys and she did all those numbers with the Miseducation and Lauryn Hill, which is one of the greatest albums, hip hop or otherwise, right? After that, the Fugees became like just a white ghost, a thing of the past, right? Something that it was this crazy moment in time where hip hop was at its freaking peak, and the Fugees, a two-man, one female group, made so much noise that they literally changed the way hip hop was done. I'm just being honest. Like a lot of people started listening to females a little more. Like, yeah, you had females before her, but they wasn't getting the respect that Lauryn was getting. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And Lauryn put a lot of dudes in place, a lot of dudes in check. Like, her bars was not no, you know what I mean? Like, they was vicious. This was Lauryn in her prime. Lauryn could go toe to toe with Nas, which she was on Nas's album. She just did the hook, but it was so flawless. Like If I Ruled the World, right? I say all that to say this. The Fugees are a shell of themselves, and we've watched Lauryn, for one reason or another, I'm just going to be respectful, have just gone off to a different level of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not going to disrespect the queen. But at the same time, Lauryn has moved into a realm that many of us do not understand, and we don't give her the benefit of the doubt with it. I'm just going to be honest. When I look at Lauryn right now in 2024, I see a woman that at least for 15 years has been extremely, I'm not going to say difficult, but it's been unprofessional, right? And Lauryn has been saying recently that a lot of her negative narratives are from the media. The media is driving this fake narrative that she's not professional, that she's been late to shows, and that she may not even show up. And that's a media thing that has caused the Fugees tour itself. Mind you, the Fugees tried to do this tour 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, right in the middle of COVID, and they had to cancel the tour. I believe the first show they did together in 20-some years was awful, right? If I'm not mistaken, some people said it was good, some people said it was awful. And they canceled the tour then. Then they came back and announced a whole nother tour. This is a miscarriage of talent, bro. The Fugees should be, at this point, first of all, I'm not going to tell you should have never broke up. But to break up and then go 20 years, right? We've had groups that had more beef than this get back together, right? We saw NWA, we saw Cube, Dre, Snoop filled in for Easy because he wasn't there. We saw them get back together and do some stuff, right? We saw EPMD get back together and do some stuff after Eric Sermon said, after Paris said Eric Sermon had his house robbed. They got back together way before that, right? It's been mad groups that have broken up but still got together for the bag. Let's just be honest, right? Yeah, some of them will never get back together. You won't see P. Rock and CL Smooth, or you won't see Third Base. But for the most part, the Fugees' beef wasn't that serious for them to have waited 25 years, right, to perform together. It's kind of like Outkast. Outkast don't perform because Dre don't want to perform. But apparently Lauryn has been performing for years. But even Lauryn had disappeared off the scene for a while. But I say all that to say the Fugees are the biggest disappointment in hip-hop. And for them to throw a tour and then cancel it 3 days later, 3 days before it's supposed to start, is not only embarrassing, it is unprofessional, it's undignified. It's ridiculous for Lauryn to try to blame it on the media and make it like there's a narrative. When you go in the comments, you see hundreds of people saying, Lauryn got me once, she'll never get me again. I came to the show. One dude was like, I came to the show. She had all her kids on stage. She was late, 2 hours late, and then she brought all her kids to the show. And they were sitting on stage watching each other. It's just crazy. So for Lauryn to try to say that it's the media narrative, right? And I say all that to say, we are in a world where a group this great with this much talent can't sell out a tour. The shows were canceled in the US because people stopped buying the tickets. I don't know, me personally, I'm not buying a ticket to see Lauryn Hill for many reasons, but one of the main reasons is I don't even want to be standing there when she's not showing up. Or she show up with an attitude. Or she show up feeling like you lucky I'm here. She's literally said, you're lucky when you see me, you're lucky I'm here. I don't want to go to no show like that, dog. I'm just dead ass. I'm like, I don't want to go to a show that the artists don't care. That's like Doja Cat telling the fans, I'm not your friend, da-da-da. You need some real friends. Don't think that we're cool. Like, that's your fans, dog. Like, respect the fans that's going to pay their hard-earned money. Anybody go see a Doja Cat show to me is absolutely insane. You're paying money to a chick that don't care two shits about you, right? And I feel like to a degree, Lauryn is in that same boat because I understand you're late here, you're late there, right? But this woman, and I'm trying to be respectful, is rumored to be late all the time. It's been a running joke for about 15 years that Lauryn's going to be late or Lauryn might not even show up at all. In what world was that Fugees tour going to succeed? And she's still posting that they have dates in Europe. They're going to be in different parts of Spain and different places overseas, right? She's like, I regret to inform you that the U.S. tour has been canceled due to the media creating false narratives about me and my professionalism. So we're still going to be in Europe, right? And I saw in the comments, somebody was like, don't fall for it. They were telling the people in the EU, don't fall for it. But I'm like this. Maybe you'll get a great show, maybe you won't. But I'm like, a group that hasn't performed together in 20-something years, the shows that they have done have either been canceled or been awful. And not even to mention, I don't even know what songs she can and can't do, because they're still in a bitter fight to this day, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Lauryn, for years, wasn't legally able to perform her own music from the album because she was in a legal battle about who wrote what. For years, she wasn't even able to perform the songs that we want to see. So I don't even know how that went. She was doing remixes and this and that. So I'm like, why would I go see a show for music that is not the music I want to hear? And on top of that, let's just be honest. The Fugees, they got quite a few tracks, but at the same time, I don't know if the Fugees got a 2-hour show, right? I mean, maybe all this solo stuff combined with a couple joints off the score, maybe do a throwback, throw nappy heads, and then maybe you got a 2-hour show. I don't know, but if they're not on the same page, right? Because apparently, Pras did a whole diss record to Lauryn called Bar Mitzvah or something like that. He did a whole diss record to Lauryn, dissing her, saying he been protecting her reputation for 20 years. My whole thing is, how's this tour gonna continue when she may or may not show up? Y'all don't really have any chemistry. The last time people have seen you, the show was garbage, and you're canceling half the shows that you're talking about you're doing. So it's like, why would I pay for this? Not to mention, on top of all that, he just made a whole diss record against one of the 3 members. I don't know how they're going to do shows in Europe. Y'all might as well refund these people right now. The Fugees are in shambles, and this is what it looks like when people are given great talent but don't utilize it right. Let's be honest. The Fugees could have had a 5-year, 6-year, okay, we fell out, blah, blah, blah. After that, bro, it's time to get back on the horse. Y'all remember why y'all got this in the first place. And I understand Lauryn wasn't always, for years, Lauryn had disappeared out the music business. I understand that. But when Lauryn started to come back, she could have worked into some, some Fugees memorabilia. They could have done 1 and 2, da-da-da. But it seemed like they was absent for years from each other, right? Even Beyonce brings Destiny Child out sometimes, right? It just doesn't make any sense when music is this beloved and there's this much money to be made. And I understand Lauryn don't move off money. Lauryn got her own issues going on. I don't know if they're mental or what's going on. But I feel like, to me, I'm not paying to see this. I've seen too many of my icons get up on that stage and be awful. And I don't want to get up and see and remember them like this in a negative connotation. I feel like if Pras is dissing her, she gonna be in a bad space when they actually do perform. There's no way they're going. I'm not performing with somebody who just wrote a whole diss record about me, right? I feel like we are watching the end of the Fugees as we know it. It's just like Run DMC. They're done. Like when Jam Master Jay passed, Run DMC was over. When Adam passed, the Beastie Boys was over, right? So I feel like this is what we're seeing with the Fugees. Fugees are done, and no one passed away. We're looking at the end of an era. Hold on to your score CDs, play those, and remember what they used to be. But you're not getting a Fugees tour. You're not getting no Fugees music, and any music you would get is probably awful. I think they did a couple new songs. I believe a few years ago something came. They dropped something. Like 2 songs right before that tour. I believe they dropped a song or 2. And it's too late to bring back the magic. I don't even understand, how they could possibly think they were going to bring this magic back with these choppy schedules. And it's just really, and then Proswell has this thing with the Department of Justice where he's looking at jail time, and it's just so much going on. I think the Fugees, my friend, you're cooked. I think Lauryn's career, she gonna have to lower some of these venues and do them in some smaller places. That's the only way the Fugees could even pull this tour off. Do some smaller, more intimate venues, which I don't know why they're doing these big arenas anyway. You know what I mean? You're doing big arenas and then you got to cancel the shows because it's not selling. I don't know what else to really say about this. I think I've said enough. I think the Fugees tour is what it is, and we already knew this wasn't going to work. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG, make sure you hit the Cash App. I'm trying to figure out what to do. How do I reward the people that have said the Cash App? Like, do I make a list? Y'all let me know. Should I make a list at the end of the videos and shout people out? You let me know what I should do. But if you feel like you want to support the channel, CLBMG on Cash App. I appreciate you, gang. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Make sure you buy some merch. We got some new merch coming out. In the bottom, just check it out. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.